Alright, what's up, Visible? This is Luke Kadlecek, applying for the music business program, and this is my application video, so let's get this started. So why do I want to start a career in music business? And that's a big question, but I guess the real driving reason that sort of got me started on it was um, artist I heard about, Lecrae, a few years back. I grew up loving music. I grew up in a real conservative home, Christian home, so I wasn't allowed to listen to any mainstream music. And I grew up DC Talk, Stephen Curtis Chapman, just sort of some real, big contemporary Christian music. As I got older, I got exposed to other music and sort of different artists and what was out there. And listened to top 40 when my parents weren't home, stuff like that. But yeah, when I was, I guess it was when Chris' album first came out. So his very first album, which was 2004, I guess 2004, 2005. So I was about 13, 14 years old. Um, I heard this music, and I love theology. Sort of always, I don't want to say always, but for a long time, we just sort of really been passionate on it. And so I was listening to some music, and there's this theology there. It wasn't just this sort of fluffy, oh, I love Jesus, let's all get along. Um, but it was deep, and yet it was hip hop, which I loved hip hop. Um, the message there really would conflict with Christians' beliefs, but immaturity level at that time didn't really matter to me. And so I was listening to this. It was good music, and there was this Christ-centric message to it. I was like, wow, this is really cool. And so that sort of introduced me to that, and sort of, like I said, I loved all types of music. Sort of those last couple of years here now, sort of hip hop has been more of a sort of the center of my musical world. Not necessarily because it's my my like for it's increased over other genres, sort of the way the Lord's played things out for me. But so yeah, that sort of introduced me to that, and so I guess now just fast forward through the years, and sort of the music I've heard. Um, the reason I now want to go into music business is for that purpose, just to be able to promote and share music that makes Christ look great, and it's still quality music. It's not, well, because they're talking about Jesus, that's an excuse for the music to not be as up to par. I think that's a terrible thing to say, because we serve a God who created, and he created music, created art, and so a Christian's quality should be even greater than that of a non-Christian's, because we know the Maker of all things. And so when I hear music that is that, it excites me, and I want other people to hear about it. And just, music is really impactful. It really does shape cultures. It can shape your mindset. And so when gospel is infused into that, it really can change a lot of things, and change people, change cultural norms. And so hearing artists like Lecrae, I just keep going back to him, but that's really what got me started. There's a lot of potential there, to do great things for the kingdom, and for Christ, and to see him magnified by people. And so that's really my passion, is just to see Christ's name made great. And I think music business is a way that can do that, because I am not musically talented myself, and so it would not bring Christ glory if I were to try to do that. And so I can get behind an artist, though, who is, and promote that and push that, so that people hear the gospel message and in turn um, give their lives to it. So that's really the motivation there as to why I want to pursue a career in music business. So I mean, as far as experience goes, sort of what got me started was where my eyes really opened to a field. Because I mean, when I first heard the crowds, I'm thinking, oh, this is good music. I'm gonna make a career out of this. So like I said, this is relatively new development. I mean, my I guess senior year in high school, I had really started taking interest in it. I was homeschooled up until I guess 10th grade. Um, and then my mom was like, "You are not doing biology lab in the kitchen sink. You are going to a school." So I went to a private Christian school. There was 50 kids in my class. A small school, real good. Learned a lot there. And sort of my senior year, like I said, I got interested. I found out about music business that's actually was a career. I was like, well, I don't really make a whole lot of money, possibly coming right out of school. Sort of didn't really appeal to me. Not really Christ-centric thinking in the way I was approaching my future career. Sort of about what was best for me. How could I live the lifestyle I wanted to live? Not really dependent upon God's ability to provide. And so sort of just pushed that to the side. Maybe once I made it big, then I could do that as a hobby. But otherwise, it really wasn't an option. So I graduated. It was weird, sort of when my homeschool credits lined up and everything with my high school credits. In the winter 2009, so I walked in the spring of 2010 with my class, which so that that summer, I guess, yeah, it was that summer. Since I've been working and stuff, I'd saved up some money, and I got an email saying that there's this tour that's going to happen. Like I said, I mean, hip hop is definitely what has become focus. Not necessarily like I planned it that way. This is just sort of the way the Lord's had things play out. But there's this artist named Jimmy Needham, who I absolutely love. Again, he has real intentional, theologically rich lyrics, and yet just has a phenomenal voice. Really enjoy his music. And so he's going to be going on tour with Trip Lee. It's called the Between Two Worlds Tour. Needham had just released his album Night Lights. Trip Lee was going to be releasing his album Between Two Worlds, and so I was like, wow, this is awesome. I got money in the bank. They were looking for a spot in Northeast Ohio, sort of Western PA area, and so I was like, I got this. I'm gonna do this. And so I called the number. It said to call. Left a message. Didn't get a response in like a day. Might have even been like half a day. Called back, left another message. I was so amped about it. So they eventually, got in touch with me and said, fortunately, it was really sad too, because it was like racial issues within the church. Just certain churches only wanted Jimmy. They didn't want to have the hip hop. And other churches only wanted the hip hop. They didn't want to have Jimmy there. And so, you're really one of 3 people who's actually shown an interest and desire to bring both of them in. So we've called the tour off, but Trips is still available for summer booking if you want to bring him in. So, oh yes, I got this. That's definitely going to happen. So I bring Trip in, and again, I was 18 at the time, and so I did the whole thing solo. There's a big Christian radio station in Cleveland, and I was like, definitely going to promote it on there, because there's a show called The Alternafish on weekends, Saturday and Sunday, from 9 to midnight, and it just was Christian hip hop and rock and alternative punk, all that stuff, from Hawk Nelson to Lecrae to Amberlin to Skillet, so just sort of all over the place, but just sort of what the younger generation in Christian music's listening to. And so 8 weeks in advance, started plugging on there for the show, and so when I found out I was going to do it, there's a Christian university down the road here called Malone University, and so I have some friends who go there. I hit them up. I was like, is there any talented hip hop artists there who would be able to open? Because I definitely want to promote local artists as well. And so I was like, yeah, check out this guy Nate Deasy, real talented. And so looked him up on YouTube and liked what I heard, and so I got his info, and he ended up making the radio clip for me. I wrote the script and he made it, and so that was tight. And we had that planned for, said 8 weeks, every hour on Saturday and Sunday nights, and so that was real good. And then also actually where I found out about Visible Alive, I was volunteering, which I guess there's some other experience I have there. I volunteered in the merch tent there for I guess three or 4 years now. So that's been a great experience. I always love doing that. So I was there. I had flyers, and so we had those at the Fish had a booth. And I also was working John Rubin's table, and he told me to put flyers out as well, and so I had them on his table, and just so I also had some people passing them out in the crowd too. So that was sort of one way of promoting it. And then also I had another artist I had was Divine Soul.